You are listening to an all-new episode of the Model Experience podcast, live from the Model House.
The Model Experience is the #1 resource for models. Real models, real stories, real resources.
Visit themodelexperience.net to learn more and be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Model Experience. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Model Experience podcast. We're back and we have a very special guest in the house, but first I want to intro my co-hosts. I'm going to hand it over to Miss Rio Summers of America's Next Top Model.
What's up, y'all? Snap. The queen of smiles besides Tyra. Back at it again. Welcome back, you guys. I have Miss Lamaya Good, super producer, here with me.
Hello.
Okay. Hey. And we also have Miss Ashley Runway, CEO, author, and all-around badass bitch.
Hey, Stakeling. And we're super excited to have one of our Model Experience family members here.
Hey now.
She is a fashion designer, entrepreneur. She's a stylist, and none other than the Erin Michelle.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
How do I pronounce the name on Instagram? It's
Amici.
Amici. That's what
I just
I
put mine in front of it. 'Cause
Perfect.
Somebody stole my name.
So what's Amici then?
It's my first and middle name mixed together, Erin Michelle.
Oh, you cute.
Amici.
Okay.
I refer to you as my Amici.
Right, me too. All of us.
It's not the first. It won't be the last.
Well, I learned you as Erin,
Yeah.
so but I do be like in my phone, Miamichi. Miamichi.
So backstory, Erin showcased her collection at one of our fashion shows, which was super dope.
She killed
And
it.
since then, I've seen, well, I mean, not that made it, but like we've seen your stuff on so many celebrities. I
Yeah,
guess
definitely
I've had my
grown
eyes
since
on you
then.
since the show.
Yeah.
And you've been killing it.
Girl, I've been working.
Girl, young
Hustling.
thug.
Yeah.
Young thug.
Randomly, actually, his stylist had reached out to me, and he had been trying to get a shirt for himself for a while.
Young
Thug?
Thug?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's crazy.
Is that how
Instagram.
most of that
Literally.
stuff happens? Is kind of like people, because I always
It
wonder.
depends. Like with that situation,
Did
it
you
was random. Or
Okay.
like sometimes I'll reach out to people, but you know, growing up in LA, it's like I know so
Everybody.
many people as well, so it's
Right.
like it's easy to kind of
Right.
push it onto somebody. Like
You like
this,
it?
Put that on real quick. But yeah, with Young Thug, his stylist reached out and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in LA. We're shooting like a spread, something. I wanted to get a shirt for myself and for Thug. I'm gonna try to put it on him." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." But you know how Instagram, like,
He
you don't
slid
know
in
how
one for
people are.
himself really quick.
Yeah, but he had been trying to reach out to get one for himself. So I'm like, you know how people are on Instagram. You never know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, like, cool, meet up with his assistant, and fast forward to like a month and a half later, people are sending me like pictures, still shots of the video. I didn't even know it was for the video. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. So it was really exciting. It was definitely very surreal.
Where do you pull from? Because I know you said you're from LA, and the Beverly Hills collection is like one of my favorites.
Yes.
Like, do you keep it LA inspired?
A lot of it is the Beverly Hills collection. I just did a collection with my little sister that's made in LA. So the Mila collection, there's like tons of very
So
LA
cute,
inspired
Mila.
stuff.
It's MILA, made in LA.
So yeah, but I have other things that aren't LA based, but a lot of it does derive and my inspiration from LA for sure.
Why? Because you're just a little Cali girl.
I am a little
Valley
LA girl.
So tell me about your idea of fashion.
My idea of fashion, it could be so broad. I love fashion because it's such a great way to express yourself. You know, whether you're the designer, whether you're rocking it, the stylist putting it together. It just depends on, I feel like, how you feel in the moment and in the time.
You feel like there's any rules though, any make or breaks, like just something that you just don't do?
I mean, there's definitely some no-nos, but you know,
Like what?
some people you just gotta let them do what they do. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody is gonna take suit to the uniform and wear, you know what I mean, what's in. And
but what's like a no-no to you particularly? What are you like, just if you see somebody out?
Are you over the neon?
Not really.
Okay.
I think it
What about
depends.
Kitten Hill?
Yeah, what are you over?
It depends. 'Cause there's some bomb Kitten Heels actually. I've
For
seen some
EJ.
fly new ones that are coming, and they're like the pointy toe. I have a couple
You know what's funny?
pictures in my phone.
'Cause I used to be totally
I
against-
was so anti.
I was so anti. Like, what's she coming? Why are you wearing?
know, but
For what?
there are some cute ones now. I
There's
can't
some
lie.
cute ones now, I ain't
And
gonna
getting
front.
in my older age, I don't really
Them
do
feet
anything
that
like that.
Sneakers.
I can throw on a kitten heel with some sweats and a
call
bodysuit
it-
and hit it.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
you know? Ooh,
It just has to be the right one. Because when you say kitten heel, you think of like the old
You
school
think of the
grandma
old
heel.
click-clack.
Yeah, exactly.
Click, clack.
So tell us about some of the other celebrities that have worn your stuff. You can name drop all you want.
I hate this part because I always draw a blank. So Young Thug, Future had on the sweatsuit. Actually, it was dope. The picture that was taken of him was at the Beverly Hills Hotel in the Beverly Hills sweatsuit.
And I saw the mayor of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, well, she didn't have it on, but the guy took a picture with her. Yeah, I'm like, I need to get her a sweatsuit.
So funny.
Who else? Like,
and styling wise, I know you worked with a few people.
Yeah, I haven't been styling like too much lately. I've been more on the fashion side, like the brand side, and I just started a merch company not long ago, which has been keeping me really busy. So I've been creating merch for different people. Like Estelle, I did her merch for her Lovers Rock.
I saw that.
So start to finish?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And then it just depends on like the relationship.
Right.
Right? Definitely. We're doing that next for sure. Who else is merch? I just did Angela Simmons merch for her Purpose app. So we're collabing on a brand for that. Who else? Hitmaker. I did some merch for him. And when he came out with his single... who else have I done?
Is it hard, the merch side? So basically taking on these people's ideas, is that harder than when you've done your own stuff?
Not really, because I feel like it's their ideas, but it's kind of like I just kind of ask them a plethora of questions just to kind of pick their brain and see where they're at with it. And then I just take that and kind of do my research and then come up with everything.
Okay.
So it's more, the creative side is more on my side, which is cool because I have a lot of freedom with the people that I've worked with.
Right.
To do pretty much whatever I want, you know what I mean?
Because they come to you for your style.
Yeah, so it's cool. So it works out hand in hand because you kind of like merge both worlds together. So it's cool.
Now, I am dying to ask this.
Yeah.
As a model, I'm always like picking people's brains to find out what they look for in their own models. So that's the question. Like, what do you look for in your models? Is there like a specific thing?
Well, your line's a little more tomboyish, so do you feel like
It is.
you
I
lean-
dress like a boy, and that's why most of my capsules and collections are unisex too. So it's like I like to be comfortable.
Yeah, right.
Sweats, you can dress them up, you can dress them down. I feel like it's not what you wear, it's how you wear it.
So your models, do they have to be, is it like a criteria that you look for?
No, not necessarily. I think just the vibe and the energy that I get from them. I do go through Instagram sometimes to like find some, you know what I mean? Just to see like,
what do you look for?
And I give them a shot sometimes. I think just people who catch my eye.
Energy-wise,
there's nothing really
visual.
specific like visually, but just somebody that I feel could represent my brand and I would think that they would look good and be able to pull off the style. Because not everybody can wear sweats every day. You know what I mean? Like,
so how do you, exactly. Like, so much, but how do you go about approaching models? Because we have a lot of listeners that get offers, you know, to model for brands and stuff. How do you approach it? Do you just DM them like, hey?
Yeah, if I, like, sometimes I have like people that DM the shop page and they're like, hey, I'm interested in being like an influencer or ambassador for your line. And I'll like go through those, but I'll also do my research and like if I come across a cute girl or a cute guy every now and then I'll like save it and then go back and when I need to do a shoot. Go back and follow up, but yeah, for the most part, it's just sporadic.
There's no like, like they need to be 5'7" and up.
No, and it's streetwear, so it's not high fashion. They're not on a runway. You know what I mean? Streetwear, we need to have a fashion show, streetwear fashion show for sure. Ooh. That would be sick, just all streetwear. But
Hello, model experience.
Right? Or like I see something else coming
do
up.
a streetwear show.
You bring Estelle, and we'll bring.
Definitely.
So, is it expensive to create a clothing line? A lot of the models that we work with, like, are into starting their own brands, and so, like, navigating that, is there a lot of startup?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
Shopify, printing the shirts.
Just literally everything costs. If you don't have an investor, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And like some people do have investors, but it's like you don't always get full range and full access when you have somebody invest in your company. They see a vision and depending on how much they invest and how much they own, it's like you can't, you know what I mean? So
it's like you're working for someone again.
Exactly. Yes. So I've done it by myself and through my parents helping me. But other than that, it's tough. It's not easy. It looks cute, but it's hard.
Right.
Like,
but what about somebody out there, like some of these young models that don't really have, what would you suggest on a minimal scale that they can do to start something up? Or what would you say? Just do a couple of t-shirts, like keep it simple?
Yeah, I would say start small.
Like,
that's for sure. I think you need to figure out what your niche is and start small and then grow from that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
so
I mean they could probably
t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm sure they could, you know, get a full line. It just depends on like the quality and, you know, how much they want detail in the printing. If they're getting printing, if they're getting embroidery, if they're getting direct to garment, like all that makes a difference. So it's like It just depends, but I mean, they could do a basic t-shirt line for, you know, a few $1,000s for sure, but even the average model that's struggling, they're not going to be able to fork up a few racks just to start a line, you know what I mean, with no return immediately, because it doesn't come back immediately. You have to pay for photo shoots, you have to pay for, and then when you don't do everything like I do, where like creative direction and visual, then you have to charge people for that. Like I'm the photographer. I do everything if I have to.
So I think that's the
so it's like
tip.
in the beginning,
like being able
you have to do everything. You really do in the beginning. And I think it's good though too, because then you learn the route and you know what you need to do when you go to hire somebody.
Right.
So
and
like,
when you go on a hire scale and you're hiring people, you know exactly what that job entails. You're not getting shucked and jived all over the place because you know what it takes to get that done.
How often are you shooting content?
I haven't been doing a lot for Amici. I have been cheating on my baby with
all these
without
people.
some merch. I know, but we're definitely gonna get back around to it at the top of the year. But I haven't had a shoot for Amici in.
Girl, I think it was the last one.
It was a while.
Girl, that was a while ago.
I know, it's been a while.
Well,
Thank God
some
people
models.
just been wearing it, and I'm like, got that to generate this content.
We got some models for you, okay?
Right?
You need some models, come on over here, the model experience.
There's one right here.
Definitely, for sure. You look bomb.
We got a plug. For sure she would.
Definitely my vibe.
Absolutely.
We're gonna set it up, y'all.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Wait till you see it.
So what's the hardest part about running your own business?
For me, it's trust. It's so hard to trust people. Like, I have one girl that works for me right now, but other than that, like, it's my little sister, it's my mom, because it's like, when it comes to stuff like this, it's really hard to put everything in somebody's hands, you know, where they have full, complete access to everything, because I do have so much going on, so it's like, I can only delegate certain things to people I don't fully trust like that. But it's like with my mom, with my sister, I'm like, here's everything, the passwords, everything. So I think developing a relationship to try to build that trust and figure out if somebody that is going to be on your team for the long run, for sure.
And that takes a lot of time.
Yes, for sure. It makes me nervous. It makes me over here tired. Because I'm like, but yeah, it's important though, because you know, at the end of the day, once it gets to a certain level, you're not going to be able to do everything by yourself. But just developing those real good, genuine relationships with people, so you know that you can trust them for sure.
When you give merch away to like some of these influencers and celebrities, do you feel like that's a good way to get notoriety, or do you feel like it's kind of like a loss? Because I feel like sometimes you give stuff to celebrities and then they never, or they wear it and they don't post it.
Yeah,
you know,
it
so
depends.
Is it a strategy that's good for
gamble? Maybe.
I think. It's, of course, makes a difference if you have a relationship with the person, because, you know, they're going to be looking out for you and have your back and, of course, tag it. But there's definitely been times where I've given stuff away and I haven't seen it.
We're back.
Yeah, but that's a part of the budget, too. Yeah, it's expensive. It's like you have to, it makes a difference, too. Like, I even have girlfriends that have, you know, a couple 100,000 followers. Like my girlfriend Casey, and every single time she posts my line, I have orders come through immediately. So it's like, it does make a difference. The right one is very important too. And that was a test experiment as well, because I sent, you know, packages out to a few girls that were just influencers, and some I would see like no numbers, and I'm like, this doesn't even make any sense.
So you give them promo codes?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So then I could track it and see like who
and then do
them.
they usually get like a percentage?
It depends on like what we set up. Yeah, in the beginning,
Right.
I usually don't, because they kind of have to prove themselves at this point. Especially Instagram is so tricky.
I
It's
was
like
gonna
shit
say,
is fake. You
it's
don't
a
know.
difference, because you can have people with a higher amount of numbers, but
no
active
influence.
followers, no influence.
Yeah.
Where the active followers are, they just buy what that person, you know. I feel like Eric does a real good, not to throw my husband into it, but he does a really good job at having active followers. Yeah, when he does anything, exactly. You have to really track that engagement and do these people buy into anything
brand or the person's brand?
Anything. And he has a smaller number than some of these other major artists, but he sells.
Yeah, his influence is higher. It's more strong.
So it's so interesting.
Yeah, it is crazy, because I've definitely been testing that like the past probably year, and I've seen such a difference. It's crazy. Like you said, like somebody will have only a couple 100,000 followers, but their influence is ridiculous, as opposed to somebody who has almost 1 million and nobody's buying
What do you think that's due to? Like authenticity, or like you said,
I think it's the wrong demographic too. Like, you know, a really sexy girl maybe only has men following her, and so when like a beauty brand comes to her, there's a disconnect.
Yeah, for sure. And not everybody wants to be like the person, you know what I mean? Sometimes they're just following them just to be a looky-loo or whatever the case. You know what I mean? So it just depends. But I've definitely seen a difference in that. So it was just a test experiment trying to figure out like who's good for the brand.
Right.
Would you say that you're like the face of your brand?
Yeah. I mean,
right?
I am a walking ad, but it's because that's really why I started my brand. Is because all the time when I was wearing stuff, people were always asking me where I got it. Like, I started, I redid my brand like maybe it's had to be 5 years ago when I started doing the furry flops before all those came out.
Yes, I remember.
And I literally just was wearing them, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, where'd you get those?"
But you have that style. I feel like you naturally have that style that people are kind of like, "Oh, it's always exactly." But that's what we're gonna ask you. Do you feel like, because you do wear a lot of designer brands too?
Yeah, I mix
Do
and
you
match.
feel? So
I do.
how important is that for somebody who's trying to establish themselves in the fashion industry? I feel like nowadays sometimes people can put on some tacky designer shit
and look crazy.
And well, people still like it because it's designer. Do you feel like
but then I feel like
it's
like those are people who are just like designer whores where they just want to be interested and hit you from head to toe because it's
so
like,
you don't feel like you need that to be a fashion influencer.
No way. You need to learn how to pick pieces and put them together and pick some cheap pieces and pick some expensive pieces.
Because I love Wasteland
and
like all the vintage spots.
Zara I live at, okay?
Hello.
They have the cutest stuff and it's quick fashion. It's like certain things like that. It's not going to stay around. It's not going to be trendy forever. So why would you go spend a rack on something you're not going to be able to wear next year?
Yeah, on a shirt.
But a bag, I'm going to drop that on the bag.
But I see there's some people that definitely get a following from that. So it's so interesting for me to see. I think you really have to have style and real genuine fashion to be able to just say, hey, I can put on something vintage, I can put on something designer. You know what I mean? But it's so interesting to me when I see people. I'm like, you look like a tacky bag of freaking Louis Vuitton and Gucci and just Prada and all the like.
Do you guys ever see somebody and you're like, in 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to look back on a picture of yourself and be like, what the hell?
Shoot, nowadays
I've done that before.
Like 2 months. Right?
She's like, woo, I was a slave girl.
Me and the Von Dutch days. That's me and the Von Dutch days. I
What you mean? Von Dutch
Head to
down.
toe, baby.
Von Dutch, like, girl, I definitely look back at these
And then like
conversations.
cycles back and you're like, I think I still have that.
Asking my mom, can I borrow certain things out of her closet?
Oh,
'Cause
that's
now it's
the
like in
best.
style.
I think that's the good thing about fashion. Like
It always recycles.
It recycles.
Always.
itself.
Yep.
Better save
For
those.
sure.
Wash
I'm gonna
that.
get my Von Dutch out.
You know how mad I was when Champion made a comeback? I was like, I literally bought this at
All
Walmart as a
the
child.
H290s brands right now, like
real.
Falconite, Champion, Fubu, like all of them have been.
Baby fat.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
crazy.
back.
It all comes back like every 20 years.
So from your perspective, any on-camera tips that you can give our models would be great. So a lot of them are newbies, not everyone, but for those that are looking for on-camera tips, do you have any that you could share?
Yes, people always ask me, they're like, how do you get those angles? How do you know to
Yeah,
take
girl.
pictures? You take pictures so well. The mirror is your best friend, honestly. Like, if you practice in the mirror, it's the best thing ever. It's like, you have to practice to be able to take a good photo. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds really crazy, but if you don't practice, then you're not gonna ever like perfect it.
Right.
You gotta take pictures too, and then go look back at your pictures. Like, I have a self timer all day. I have the pictures on my Instagram. I take.
See, I need to get better with my self timer because I do my selfie game is on point.
Yeah,
I
and
just
put the
have
self timer, and then you can practice and see
repetition
like
self-timer. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, they have one where it has like 10 shots, and then you go through, and it's like, oh no, this is not my good side. I need to put my chin up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that you can look at in a photo and through the mirror and learn. Yeah.
Okay, give us another one. Another on-camera tip.
Dropping gems.
I'm like, I think confidence is very important too. You have to believe in yourself and know that you look good.
Yeah,
and
shit.
It's not being, conceited, but you have to be confident in yourself for sure. And
But you also have to be like honest with yourself too.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, that was way too close. You can see all my pores.
Yeah, for sure. Or it's like, I'm gonna blow it today. I'm gonna try this again.
Give me a couple days.
For sure, that is true.
All right, so 2 major on-camera tips. Number 1, the mirror is your best friend. Practice, practice.
Thank you. Because
Self-timer is key.
literally stress it all the time.
And last thing, confidence.
Yep.
This is a common theme, guys. If you haven't got it by now, confidence is key.
It is. And anything that you do, I feel like, though, whatever it is, if you know that that's what you're supposed to be doing and that's your purpose, then you should be confident and walk in that and own it, for sure.
Well, our question is, are you coming back?
Yes.
Let's close this out with a
As soon as
bang.
I get back from my I've been doing interior design, and it's my first like really big project, and by myself.
A hotel or something?
It's a house. It's a house that they turned into a studio house. So we built out 2 recording studios in the house.
Oh, it's like, okay.
It's really fly. I gotta show you. It's really dope. So I've been doing like that like the past 2.5 months, 3 months.
Nice.
And it's been very time consuming, but it's been an amazing experience. I've learned so much, and I've always been into interior design, but I just feel like I'm a creative person. Like,
all around.
Creating or like, you know what I mean? Something like that, art, I do paint, like all that stuff.
The home line, and you make those pieces.
Yeah, like the Chanel barrels.
Yeah,
and like
she does these art pieces.
So it's all tied in. So it was an amazing opportunity. I was excited when it came about, but you're like,
I can see like something in her face. She's
So yeah, I am coming back for sure. I feel like
we'll be expecting
let's do the top of the year. When is the next one?
Our next show is December 14th and 15th, and then we have Fashion Week starting back in March.
Okay, so then March is when I'm coming, because 14th and 15th, I'm going to be in New York. I'm doing a pop-up for Angela's merch line, so we're going to do a pop-up in New York. So yeah, I have been a busy bee, but I can't complain. It's fun, so it's like when it's something you love, it's nothing. The sleep isn't too bad. Whatever, I can sleep later.
For sure.
Oh my goodness.
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And Erin, tell our listeners where they can find you on Instagram.
My personal Instagram is Maya Michi. The shop page is Shop Amici. EMICH.
You want to spell it?
Spell it out. EMICHI. And the website is myamichi, myemichi.com.
Shop, shop, shop. It's Christmas time.
Shop it up.
Hey, Black Friday.
She's like, no, we don't discount ours.
Right.
No, we have holiday drops, holiday sales.
Everybody's in the Black Friday mix. Come on now.
You have to be. You have with something like that. You absolutely have to be for sure. Now it ain't gonna be 75% off, but you get a little something. You get a little something. You get a little free gift too.
Well, thank you so much for coming, Erin.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And that's a wrap.